Hi, it's Matt Lawrence here from the Vulcan Restoration Trust. I'm the Chief Engineer looking after XL426. This video here is for a safety briefing and to keep you safe on board your unique high-speed taxi run experience. So as a VIP guest, please do not go to the visitors entrance, please go to the crew entrance where you'll be met there and greeted by one of our hospitality team. So at that point there, you are going to need your photo ID, either a passport or a driving licence, to be issued a temporary airside pass and a high-vis vest, and at that point we'll go through the safety brief. So here we are onto the actual safety brief. So in this safety video we're going to cover a multitude of topics. So it is a military aircraft, it's not like your Malaga flights on a commercial airliner, it's a military aircraft, so it is very, very different, so you must listen to what we're saying here. So we're going to cover safe entry into the aircraft, safe exit out of the aircraft, if there's an emergency, how to get out of the aircraft. So not only are you a VIP, you're also going to be part of the crew as well, so you must listen. So you're going to have safety equipment on, you're going to have like a pair of black overalls or a flying suit, you're going to have a headset on or a helmet. This is so you can actually hear what is going on board the aircraft as well. So you'll hear the checklist, you'll hear the crew doing challenge and responses through the checklist. But also it's primarily for your safety as well. You need to be able to hear what's going on. So if there is an emergency, you need to know what to do. So as part of the crew, depending when you're sat on the aircraft there, you might have an action. It might be to open the door, it might be to help others get out. Don't know what that's going to be at that point, but we will cover that later on. So in the next scenes, we'll show you what to do. So this is the entrance to XL426, and obviously with a ladder here, so you need to be fairly able-bodied to get inside the aircraft and out. So there's one point in and one point out, and this is it. It's not like Thunderball, there's no other doors in the aircraft to go through into the cockpit. So safe route of entrance into the aircraft here. So if you can, grab the ladder here and here, 1 foot at the bottom, and then start making your way up. Okay, and also watch your head as you come up. And getting out of the aircraft is exactly the same, but in reverse. So as you can see, we're now in the cockpit. It's a little bit different at the moment, it's dark, we haven't got power on in the aircraft. So this is purely for you guys now to give you a rough idea of what's where. So in this position here, when you're in the aircraft, this is going to be the air electronics officer. So there is going to be someone in this seat as part of the crew. So this chap here, he's going to be making sure that the checklist is adhered to, and also he's going to make sure your safety is critical to the operation here. So if there is any problems, this seat here is going to tell you to get out of the aircraft, and he'll show you how to get out. So in the middle position over here, this is going to be nav plotter. So one of you may be sat there. What you need to realise about this seat here is it only goes backwards and forwards. So you have to be very careful. But if you do get the opportunity to go up on the centre ladder, there's this handle here down to your right hand side. Put it upwards, slide backwards. With the chair now slid back, you're now going to turn to your right or your left. But when you look up, there's the handle. Grab the handle, push on the seat. You're now up. We now have the other handle here in the centre. And you can now start to step backwards, obviously minding out whoever else is in the cockpit, and then make your way to the centre between the two seats. Same again coming backwards. So you're going to have the handle here, watching out for the AEO or the nav radar, hand behind you, into the seat, handle on the right hand side, make sure the seat's locked, and you're in position. These seats here, these rotate, so they rotate around, and then you'll be going down into the entrance and back out the aircraft. I'm in the nav radar position in this seat here, so the seat at the moment is facing aft, so you're looking at the back of the aircraft now. This is the position it's going to be in for the actual high-speed taxi itself. Now, you will get the opportunity to move around and get up onto the ladder. Now, there's a lever down to your left-hand side here. If you push the lever forwards, you're going to notice the seat can rotate. Now if we have a problem, you need to rotate this seat around. So when we do that, you're now facing down towards the entrance of the aircraft. That's how you're going to get out if there's an emergency. However, if you do want to get out of the seat and have a go on the middle ladder, you just need to be careful of your surroundings and who else is in here and how to move around. So with the seat swiveled now facing the front of the aircraft, you can now try and get out of the seat. To do that, shuffle forwards, look up to the centre. You'll see another handle here. There's a handle on the back of the seat here. You can now stand, depending if nobody's sat in this seat here. You can now go across the ladder, grab this handle here, and you can now stand in the middle of the seats. So it's come back down, keep your hands on the handles, step onto the floor, grab the handle, and then back into the seat. So just be careful of your surroundings and who else is in here as well. Be courteous. Try not to hit people in the head because it's unkind. Not very nice, but so just try and be careful. Back into the seat, and then once we get to the high-speed taxi, you can go back round and put your seat back into the rear position. So this is one of the passenger seats. Andy, who's filming now, is in the other passenger seat. So this is what the seat would have been used to go transatlantic or long flights. So they're not the most comfortable of seats, should we say, but you do have quite a good point of entry and exit here and to move about, and you can actually stretch your legs out as well. So what you will notice though, the crew door is here, and at the moment you can see it with the ladder on. So we said earlier on that the door will close, so just keep in mind your feet are around this area here. Just keep in mind the door is going to close, okay? So you can actually move around in here. You can do what you want to do in this area here, obviously on the say-so of the AO. So you can move around. So you have this ladder here, which is the ladder in between the seats. If you do get the opportunity to go up on the ladder, it's literally, the aircraft could be moving. Grab the ladder, both sides. And I'm not going to teach you to suck eggs, but there we go, up the ladder, handhold on the back of the ejector seat and the captain's, handhold on the back of the P2, and you can go up the ladder, and you're now looking at the front of the aircraft. Same again, if you want to come back down, keep your hands on the handles here at all times, and then start to come back down, hand on the top of this one, and then back into the seat, and you're back to safety again. But like I say, with the door open, do be careful, because you can fall out there. Hopefully, or not hopefully, but when the ladder is on, you can then get back up and down the aircraft there quite safely. But with the ladder off, be very careful. The aircraft is going to be very noisy. You will have a headset or a helmet on, and you do need to have that on at all times to make sure you can hear the communications between all of us. So if there is any unfortunate reason that you do need to get out of the aircraft, you need to hear that get out call. So that's a very unlikely event. So as we're going with the aircraft now, we'll go through all the startup procedures. It will go from power off, getting into the aircraft, you'll get into your positions wherever you've purchased, and then we'll start going through the checklist, the challenge and response. So that's what it's called. The startup sequence, it's going to take around half an hour. So that's the aircraft out in the apron, from, like I say, power off to engines running. The aircraft will almost likely be towed out to the taxiway as well. So you're going to feel different movements. The aircraft's going to be rocking and rolling. And then when the aircraft's in its position, the brakes will go on. Power's going to be on the aircraft anyway, and we'll be up to engine start. So then at that point, we need everybody then to be very quiet. So even though you can hear the crew going through their checklists, it's important at that point that you don't actually say anything over the microphone. So we're going to have air traffic talking, and we're going to have the crew talking as well, and the crew chief outside. So we get up to engine start. That's when it's going to get even noisier in here as well. and you're going to have the smell of jet fuel, you're going to have warm air pumping around. In the summertime, it's sometimes very, very, very hot in here as well. So one thing you are going to notice on your experience, the engine's going to be running, there's going to be different noises, hopefully not too many smells. You're going to feel different things, so you just need to be aware of what is also going on around you. So for the taxi runs, we take this ladder off, which is obviously a good feature because you don't really want to be clambering down a ladder if you're in emergency. So what we do is, and I'll show you this ladder's going to go up. So the crew chief is now going to remove this door ladder. Then you're going to hear this noise. Ladder's going to come off. The crew chief comes up. He's going to press this button here. So you can hear that rush of air. Absolutely perfectly normal. That's how the door closes. So for anybody down the lower part of the aircraft there, you're going to see a green light come on, and then in a few minutes time it's going to be brake release and we're going to start taxiing. So do make sure you're hydrated and make sure you've been to the loo first as well before getting in. I do warn you of that one. So the engines, once they're started, it will likely be 1, 2, 3 and 4. We'll then go through the after start checklists, such as checking hydraulic pressures, checking the bomb bay doors for function, checking for any brake leaks. We're going to move the air brakes. We're going to start the powered flying control units. So there's going to be all these different noises and feels going on, but it's all perfectly normal. So it's going to be fairly alien. So once we've done all the after start checks, we're going to be up to taxi, which is now the fun part for everybody. So at that point there, you may be able to walk around, you may be able to get onto the ladder. As I do warn you, it's cramped in here. The air electronics officer, he will tell you when you can and cannot go on the ladder. So do listen to this guy here. He will tell you when it is safe to do so. So if you are on the ladder, do take it in turns, be safe, and make sure it's fair also, so everybody can have a look. But when we do get to the point of the actual high-speed taxi, you all need to be in your seats or the positions that you are meant to be in. The aircraft, at that point there, the power will go up to 80% against the brakes. You'll feel the nose dip a little, and then it'll be smiles on faces because the brakes will be released. Full power will be reached. You will hear the howl, that famous howl of the aircraft. And there will be a hell of a kick in the backside as the brakes release. The aircraft picks up very, very quickly on speed. So we will go 0 to about 100 knots in around 8 to 10 seconds. It really is that quick. So you do need to be prepared for that release of energy. If we do use the brake parachute, it's reverse of energy. So you'll hear over the headsets or the helmets, you'll hear stream. So that call there is for the second pilot up the front to push 2 switches down, and that releases the brake parachute out the back of the aircraft. Once that happens, you count to around 7 seconds, and then you'll feel the aeroplane nudge going forwards, or you'll be going backwards in the seat. So that means hopefully that there's a good shoot, and the aircraft will then start to slow down. And then at that point, once we reach around sort of 80 down to 70 knots, we'll get rid of the brake chute and we'll go to the end of the runway and we'll turn around and then we'll start coming back towards our parking apron. So as we come back, you might have another opportunity to go up on the centre ladder between the seats, and then we'll taxi back into the pan, at that point, we'll go through the shutdown checks. And the crew door is going to open up again. It will be noisy, so do make sure you've got your headset on to protect your ears as well. There'll be some welcome fresh air come into the cockpit because it will be warm. And as we go through the shutdown checks, challenge and response calls again, we'll go through all the checks and we'll get to the point the engines will shut down, and then give yourselves a high five. You've been on that experience, you would have really enjoyed it. And then we'll go out for a well-deserved drink. So, in the very unlikely event of an emergency and to get out of the aircraft, we have to do this in an orderly fashion. Try not to panic. Take your time, but not too much time. The instructions get out of the aircraft is either going to be from the AEO in this seat here, from the captain, or the second pilot. So if there is a problem, it's going to be highly likely a problem on the outside of the aircraft. It could be a fuel leak, it could be a brake fire, an engine fire, bird strike, who knows. But the aircraft is going to come to a stop. The engines will then start to be shut down very quickly, and then it's time to get out of the aircraft. So you do need to remember the door is now open. The door is now a slide. Okay, if you look down the door there, you're going to see the undercarriage. Okay, don't let that put you off getting out, but you have to get out in an orderly fashion. The order of that would have been told to you before by the crew. So to get back out of the aircraft in an emergency, you all need to come down to the centre point of the aircraft here when you are told to do so. The nav plotter seat, there's a handle behind the seat with this orange tape on it here. Do keep that in mind. You're going to grab the handle here, both hands. You're going to shuffle forwards, put your feet onto the gas struts, and then what we're going to do is we're going to slide down the door. It's easier if I show you. Don't laugh too much. So, as we do it, we're going to come to one side, and then we're going to grab the gas struts, and then we're going to slide down the door, and we're going to go to the right hand side. Simple as that. So that's how you get out of an aircraft, specifically Vulcan. That's how you do it, and you stay out of the way of the undercarriage, and then you're going to get away from the aircraft. So with that now, the aircraft's all shut down, and hopefully you're outside in a bit of cooler air. We really hope you've enjoyed your experience. It's what it's all about. Enjoy every second of your ride on this aircraft. It is a once in a lifetime. It's very, very special. We love doing it for you. Smile, be happy, really enjoy it.